first Saturday in May kicks off the first leg of the Triple Crown Happy Derby Day with Today at the Races with myself and Keith Fusel. Keith, been a little bit yesterday at Churchill, as we talked about.
Yeah.
You had a little bit of luck, but a nice winner in the Kentucky American Oaks. Just a really wonderful team with Brendan Walsh there on with the number 14. Overall, good racing was had here yesterday.
Yes.
Definitely. So we're gonna continue that for you today. Let's take a look at that Preakness Future wager. Keith, that shuts down at 6 o'clock today. You have your chance to get your tickets in for this nice win pool of 256,511.
Absolutely. I think the pool right now is really, really good. Strong. Keep that graphic up if you could, guys, real quick, because I want to go through a couple horses. You know, you're searching for value in this wager. And now with the late scratch of Forte, things have taken a little bit of a turn. Still don't know. He's still hanging around for the Preakness. We haven't been confirmed any which way, one way or the other there. So maybe here's your chance to kind of seek out value. If there's a couple horses you really like today, you know Angel of Empire is probably going to come down seriously today in the Derby. You're laying it 9-1. A horse like Mandarin Hero. I even think, if you're looking, if we can go back to the front again, guys, there's a couple horses here that I'm sorry, Tapich Rice, 11-1 right now in the Preakness Future. He's going to be the Derby favorite. If he happens to win and comes to the Preakness, what's he going to be, 8-5?
Pretty much.
Lower. We don't know who's coming, but there's how you got to play this first mission laying there at 9-1. A horse that we're pretty sure he's going to be there. So there's value. It abounds here. Get in, if you can now. You've got up until an hour before the Derby leaves the gate. So there you go. We really want to thank everybody who's taken part in this Preakness Future wager. I didn't quite expect this, talking to Mike Rogers. He had some hope, and I tell you, it's going in a trend where he thought it was going to go.
Why not?
So
As
that's
expected.
really, really good. Yep.
Absolutely. So 6 o'clock, you have until 6 o'clock to get in on that action here. But we're going to get back to Saturday racing here in Maryland, starting here in race number 1 that does kick off the early pick 5. Let's take a look at the track and see what we've got going on. Things are going to warm up. Things are slightly somewhat chilly in my opinion. Others had different opinions, but 66 right now, we're going to have a nice day of racing today.
66 ought to feel like a sauna for somebody from where you grew up, right?
We've had this conversation.
I know.
It's an old. Once you spend a winter in Florida, it's done.
Okay.
All of that is done. That conversation's done.
It's sunny. It's a beautiful day, fast and firm. We're going to rock through this 11 race card, and let's get it started.
Starting in this claiming 25,000, going a mile and an eighth on the turf for the girls 3 years old and up. You have the number 2 on top, Keith Celicina. Celicina, for Milan Milosevic. Gets Jean Avello here today. Returns back in this season, but came back if last season was any indication, that was a good first off of the layoff on the turf for this filly on the 17th of September over at Old Hilltop.
And that's the key, real quick, and we're going to fly. Favoritism goes to the 8 Eau Claire. I think is going to get class relief here. Delacour, real quick, had a little stat. Last 3 years with allowance to claimers on the turf. He's got a 4.33 ROI that's very good. Second race back on that page at Tampa. That was a salty field. Horses came back and ran big in a stake. My top selection, Celichna. Another one. Milosevic has done well. Plus 180 days on the turf. 2 for 11, 5 for 11 the money. I think this was improving. ROI of 342 for that stat. Sits back. Has shown to handle the mile and an eighth, and I think this one she'll be able to handle it. Offer some value in the opener. 2-6-8-7. And hey, early pick 5 kicks off in race 1. We had a $37,000 ticket if you were paying attention yesterday. So you may want to jump in this card today. There's a lot of value in store. I think we're going to have some good shots.
I agree. A lot to offer here on Saturday, the first Saturday in May in Maryland. And we're going to go ahead and talk about race number 2 that does kick off the early pick 4. Keith, as per usual, what does your ticket look like here today on Saturday?
$13.50. Big day. We got to, keep it light early. This is a marathon. This isn't a sprint this afternoon. 1-5-6 with the 4. We're going to single. Race 3, Tulchin for Arnold Delacour. Race 4, 1, 2, and 3. Rodriguez on Pelota might hold some value there in race number 4. Wrap it up in the 5th with the 4, 11, and 12. Right? No.
Let's take a look.
I got the wrong numbers there. That can't be right.
Race number 5,
We're
correct.
gonna come back. I've got the 4, 5, 9, but we'll come back to that.
We'll
Yeah,
come back
that's
to that.
my bad. However, I sent it in, so I'm sorry.
In the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about the races that do kick off the early pick 4. In this claiming 40,000 for the girls, 3 years old and up, going 6 furlongs here on the dirt. Keith, you've got the number 1 on top, the rail horse in My Sister Nancy, John Salzman Jr., Jamie Rodriguez. The rail position worked out for Salzman Jr. yesterday. Let's see if it can work out for him again today.
Yeah, coming back, first time Lasix for incredible numbers at 2. So she's going to make her 3-year debut, and I like the way she keys up against Angel of Canterbury, a horse that's gone on multiple winner here. Has a little tactical speed. I think it's going to, serve her well in here. The horse just outside of her scratch, who I thought was the main speed, but fresh and ready to go. Jockey trainer combo is very, very strong. Horse to beat, no doubt. That's some kiss. A little drop here. Anything close to the 2 back and 3 back races gets it done. 1, 6, 5, 4. We've got a video on Ice Cube Baby, or no? No,
we don't.
don't. I was going to put it in,
race here in
but
race
did have
number
trouble last time
3.
out.
Race number 3 is a maiden claiming 45, going a mile and 16th on the turf for the second leg of the early pick 4. Keith, let's go ahead and take a video. Let's go ahead and talk about the number 6 Stellar Loot, your top selection for Mark Schumann. Excuse me, I had a bit of a. That's my. Let's go ahead and take a look at that video on the number 4 Tolkien for Arnaud Delacour, and it gets Daniel Centeno today. Declan Cannon on last time out at Turfway Park.
Yeah, synthetic, the turf, smaller sample, hasn't been great, but I think got what the doctor ordered. You'll worry a little bit with a $375,000 purchase in for 30 first time out, right? So they're thinking, okay, this is where this guy fits. But I thought inside with that early duel and then just kind of kept on churning through the final eighth of a mile. Good enough for me against this group. Bottom side, Pine Needles, decent. 2 for 11 on the turf, 5 for 11 the money, third in Boiling Springs. There's turf there. The Curlings are fine on the turf. 2 siblings have tried it. Nothing special. But I think looking at this group, that debut should get this horse ready to roll, and I think we'll handle the turf just enough on or near the lead.
Dan Pine Needles won first and second out routing on turf for her tries with that for Pine Needles. So things look good for Tolkien. You also include the number 7 Northern TikTok for Susan Cooney. Gets William Humphrey here today.
Yeah, I mean, first time with trainer Angle has been good the last few years for Susan Cooney. I know not right on the racing form on that little stat, but dug a little bit deeper. Turf try was good. It was down inside, settled, made a pretty good run late at 5/8 at Pimlico, but that winner came back to run a 72 next out. Breeding suggests could handle a little bit more increased distance.
Why not? Keith Fusel goes 4, 7, 8, 10 there. In the second leg of the early pick 4, third leg of the early pick 4 is race at number 4 in this claiming 5,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, going 6 furlongs here on the dirt. You have the number 2, Nash Vegas for Norman Cash, gets J. Ron Barbosa. We haven't seen this one since late March.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie's on fire. I guess the road's going to go through him. I expected a little bit more a couple races back over this surface. I think he's going to get some pressure from Loaded Sniper. Nash Vegas coming back into this for the tag. I think it's going to be just what the doctor ordered. This was a 1-run sprint type for me. I think he sits mid-pack and will ramp it up from the quarter pole home.
Absolutely. You also include Pelota underneath Rudy Sanchez-Solomon, Jamie Rodriguez, as you previously mentioned on your early pick 4 ticket. Obviously going to give him a bit of an excuse for last time out, but then you had the added effect of the drop down last time we saw this one at the claiming 5,000 level. That resulted in a win going 7 furlongs.
Yeah, grinding type of sprinter here. I think best suited at 6 to 7 furlongs. Really kind of tried too much off the claim, off a nest. But Rodriguez returned and won a couple races with this guy. So I think this will work. Needs a little bit of pace set up here. Needs that duel to develop. Birdie's on fire. If he shakes clear, he could be gone.
Race number 5 is a maiden claiming 12-5, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Keith, you have the number 4 here and no further for Kieran McGee. Gets Carlos Lopez back in the saddle for the first time. We haven't not seen this one since April Fool's Day. Had an inside trip. Handled it, needed a little bit more last time out.
Getting back to a fast track, I think this is going to be the key for this one. Really hasn't quite panned out, right, off the claim. I expected a little bit more, and maybe Prior Connections did as well. But looking at this group, We've got a couple scratches. Take out the 1 and the 8. I think if he just kind of gets early position enough, he just stays around and the field might come back to him.
Absolutely. You also include the number 5, Luda, for Charlie Frock gets Axel Concepcion. 15-1, Axel has been bringing home some pricey winners as of lately, so just following with that trend a bit, I would say.
Another one moving back, from an off track to a fast surface today. Second time blinkers, really nothing at all. Last time I was a little discouraged with that, but the first 2 tries were encouraging to me. Another one where I think can kind of stalk and make a move. Bubba Chrome, probably the horse to beat. Been bet down the last couple, just kind of makes that move. Might have found the group here today that kind of he can just kind of out. I don't know.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, just hold enough left through that last 8 mile because he might get the jump on my 2 choices.
And exactly that. Key race is back on the 14th of January where he did get that forward placed positioning and was able to just kind of run with that and really enjoy it. So hopefully with that outside post, he gets a little bit of help with that, as well as Keith Usel goes 4-5-9-6 there in race number 5. And we will be right back for the rest of Saturday's card.
Pop, pop, it's showtime. Showtime. Guess who's back again? Don't believe me, just watch. Hey, oh! Guess who makes me feel alive? I've been locked out of hell. I'ma leave the door open. That's right. We out here tripping in finesse. 'Cause you're amazing. Just the way you are.
And we continue with Saturday's card here in race number 6, which does kick off that jackpot super high 5 wager. That was hit yesterday at about 38,000. And just a reminder, race 6 every single day here in Maryland. We have this offer for today. We also, don't forget, have a mandatory payout, and this will be one of those mandatory payouts that will be happening tomorrow for Sunday's racing. Now, race 6 also kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. I have a ticket structure lined up for you, and this is how I play it. 3-4-12 here in race number 6. 2-4 down in race number 7, and then in races 8 and 9 I go wide. 1-2-4-7 in race 8, 1-2-4-5 in race number 9. Race number 10 I go with the 5 and the 7, and I single on Bunker Hill for Jimmy Toner. Victor Carrasco in the saddle. He has been having a wonderful Gulfstream Park meet, and hopefully he can transfer a little bit of that success over here in Maryland here today. But let's find out if he does there in the 11th. Let's get back to the action here in race number 6. That does kick off that Rainbow Pick 6 pool and the Jackpot Super High 5 pool as well. In this starter optional 12-5, going 5.5 here on the dirt for the girls 3 years old and up. Keith, you have the number 4 on top, Shasta Star. Let's take a look at Shasta Star for Bob Caceres. Gets Horacio Caramanos in the saddle today.
Yeah, we're going to go back to the race at Belmont, right? May the 12th. We're going back basically a year. And Shasta Star is 2 for 2 on the turf, coming off of a little bit of a break. But I think if she can bring anything close to this style of running and this style of finish, she's going to be just fine in this starter. She's in for the tag, in for the 12-5, but going for a barn that, is of late going great guts. And look at this, just moving up well within herself into the stretch, going to go ahead and attack and go by the leaders here, leaving mid-stretch, and goes clear at the wire. A little better group, I thought, that day overall. A next out winner in there. That was avoided claim this particular day. So off time, just come back to the races in a couple spots I thought almost kind of protected. Now a jam, the 12-5. So there's a little bit of guesswork. Caramanos there, kind of a main rider. He's done quite well with this barn. Check her out on track, see how she looks. I think she might just stay perfect on the turf.
I agree. Horacio Caramanos and Bob Caceres at 39% as of lately on the turf, 7 for 18 in the winner's circle, and to add 5/3 to that. So absolutely a strong filly. Just enjoys her job here on the turf. Tried a couple of goes during the wintertime. Wanted no part of that. She gets back to a surface that she enjoys.
And what I like, you go on this page, you can't see it, but you go all the way back looking at formula and everything. She has come back off of a really bad try on the dirt to go and win that first win on the turf.
There we
was
have it.
Like that. So a little bit of an angle there. I think Clayton's Candy's a horse off of a break. Salvaggio likes bringing these horses in. They'll sprint. This one's very versatile. Again, there's going to be some flow in here. Claire's Darling's quick. You got Lady Jean, I think, is going to force the issue. And, Lily Simone from the far outside got engaged in that duel last time. But I think Clayton's Candy is one definitely look out to make a run from the back of the pack.
Absolutely. So there we have it. Keith Fustel 4, 11, 12, 10 there in the start of the Rainbow Pick 6 and the Jackpot Super High 5 carryover. Race number 7 is the Claiming 10,000 going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Keith, you have the number 2 on top as well as I do. I see Minister for Carlos Mancia, gets Axel Concepcion, gets back to a fast track here today, gets also the cutback in distance from that 1-turn mile to the 7/8. That's just a little bit further up the chute and at the first wire.
Yeah, one thing, if we've got some newer fans watching, and a lot of times it's like you just kind of look at trainer stats and look at the jockeys, and we get these apprentice riders to get hot around here. And Concepcion, that's him right now, and he offers value. He can get away at some prices. So if you want to make it simple, go to your favorite rider. And this is maybe a little bit of an ask for Icy Minister. He does not have a lot of speed. I was hoping the 8 Crown Count Cristo stayed in because I thought this horse was fresh and could force the issue, but faced a little bit better a few races back. It was maybe a little bit of a negative drop, you claim, but they went and got Concepcion. Sits mid-pack. Going to need a little bit more ramping things up by the 3/8 pole, I think, to get it done, but offer some value in here because the Young Turk, it's going to be his race to lose on the front end, but he had no excuse last time at 6. Maybe at 7, he can relax a little bit more and have a little bit left in the tank. Gilligan, I like to change his styles, what they've done with this runner for the Jose Corrales barn in Brasilia. This horse has been able to kind of bring steady runs the last 2. Used to be kind of speed crazed. They've changed it up and was able to get by Young Turk last time.
It's going to be interesting what Xavier does with Young Turk. It was an encouraging effort amongst easier company in the 10 last time out. So he's likely going to try those speed tactics again. I'm concerned about the distance just a tick. He has been able to show the ability to come from a little bit off the pace, a little bit of that tactical speed, if you may, with some trouble. If some trouble does happen, a big race I'm referring to is that effort 2 back with that distance there today. So it's going to be interesting, but like you said, Young Turk's race to lose. That's where I came up with Icy Minister, maybe hoping for a little bit of that price.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can get it cranked up a little sooner rather than later because Young Turk, I think he's going to be in front at the 8th pole. It's going to be that last 16th of a mile, but he's done fine. His numbers work at the distance, Young Turk. Yep.
And I think the track has been playing fair as far as that goes as well. So if you want to just take a note of that, it hasn't been crazy speed favored in these past couple of days. So we'll see what happens there in the 7th. But race number 8 is a starter optional claiming 30,000, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up for the girls. Keith, you have the number 4 on top. My lovely girl for Anthony Ferrier gets Arnaldo Boca Chica. This one I also have underneath, and I can certainly see the appeal to this one.
Yeah, I think this is a big barn change to me. Ferrier's waited. And brings her here. You thought maybe there was not a spot at Charleston. I don't know. Haven't looked at the condition book and everything like that. But you know what? She's brought some good races for the prior barn over this track. You go back in December. Granted, a muddy surface between Hydra, only a few lengths behind Proper Attire in the past. There's some speed in here. Proper Attire, Brazina was really sharp last time out with that speed. I didn't expect it coming. But Proper Attire has shown a little bit of the ability. Here's Barzina. That's great. We got the video of that one. She was guns a-blazing early, 22-3, 45-1, and was again kind of going to get the lead and go clear, open up. It did it without a whole lot of asking.
No, and she didn't. She's very comfortable within herself, and just a big price at a restricted allowance last time out. The barn has also been on a roll coming into spring season, so that was a big step up, a big change. But with her, I think in that last effort, with what we're seeing on screen, did it early, just needed to kind of get into it, needed a race to kind of get into it again, which is where I like this weight-off approach with both Concepcion and Rivera Jr. Of just kind of no buns about it, just go ahead and get up front there and just, get comfortable, but maybe she was perhaps a little bit too comfortable in that effort. Yeah,
Proper Attire might lay a little bit closer to some of that other competition that Brazina had last time, but I like the way Proper Attire, awful quick pace, made that move. Touch of a hang late, just a touch, but she's brought 4 good races in a row. Works very well in this spot. So I still think she's the horse to beat. She's going to be a little shorter price. Sparkle Sprinkle coming out might help the chances of Brazina up front. But my lovely girl, maybe from just off of it.
We'll see if she does turn out
I'm sorry.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the two, do not leave the two out. Jamie Ness turning back in distance because I think the flow is going to work to her liking as well.
Absolutely. We'll see what
So-
happens there. And in race number 9 is an allowance optional claiming 55 going 8 furlong, 1 mile here on the turf. It's not a one turn though, 2 turns here across this Laurel lawn. We are going to take a look at your top selection in Skies Not Falling. For Mike Trombetta gets Johan Rosado, returns back to the races here in Maryland after some efforts in Gulfstream Park, a bit of a winter campaign.
Yeah, he's had his fair share of trouble, down at Gulfstream. You see head turn at the start, fractious gate, broke out 3 to 4 wide. But, man, he's run against the right kind of big upset going back on December the 4th. I like him at the mile distance. He's proven over this turf course. I think the form is dirtied up, and against a little shorter field, he'll get good position. I think he kind of gets that pocket trip. And he's going to like it. If he just comes out cleanly, Wicked Prankster's going to go. Bodie's Maker's fresh. Boats are rocking coming out. He's going to change this pace flow a little bit
Big
as
time.
well. But he's tactical enough and faced the right kind. He beat a horse in that race on December 4th. This time. He's come back. He's a greatest stakes type of horse on the go back. So I think he's faced the right kind and can kind of stalk and pounce at a price here for Trombetta.
You also include Eons for Arnaud Delacour gets Georgie Rui back at Keeneland last effort out. Really just wasn't able to offer too much. Was chucked back in the field early on in the race just from the break alone. So wasn't able to do too much. But again, Georgie Rui, Arnaud Delacour, 35% on the turf when they team up together.
That was a very salty field he faced at Keeneland in return. Made an okay run, 4 to 5 wide into the stretch, just really kind of flattened out that last eighth of a mile. Shortening up to a mile should work. I think he's just kept tremendous company. Getting a little up there in age. We'll see if he can kind of ramp it back up. He needs to kind of get engaged a little sooner than he has. But I think Delacour, with this little stat for him, 9 for 36, 25% second off of this type of layoff the last few years, going long on the turf with an ROI of 233. So tough to leave out. Georgia Ruiz a good turf rider. So 4224. Joe,
we
he's
have
back.
the return of Joe.
Yeah, we've got video of Joe going back to Preakness weekend, right?
Yep.
May 21st of last year, and the Jimmy Murphy, and beats a good horse in ready to perform. That's a horse a couple races later went up and won the Grade 2 Hall of Fame at Saratoga. But Joe this day gets the inside trip and then kind of works a scene between upper stretch, and it's just dead game. This is a really good horse race through the final eighth of a mile. I thought the outside was going to be a little better, a little brush there, Callie. And they carry it, and who wanted a little bit more but Joe?
Joe wanted it.
Yep.
And Joe certainly did get it. I like the return here. We also have a nice work, a bullet work, 5 furlongs. On a yielding turf over here on Laurel Lawn. So he skipped along it. As long as this one can come out good off of the layoff, you go, and really you don't have anything to go off of. The first time out, he goes to, it's clearly too short for him. But next time out on the dirt, 1 turn mile, clearly just wonderful performance returning to that distance. So it's just a question of whether he can come back with that same type of performance that we saw last time out. Certainly that work is an indication of that.
Bodie's Maker getting a little bit of a class test here. But, man, went to the turf late in May last year, reeled off 4 straight wins. Times are good. Numbers are good. And Ness has had success off of the breaks going long on the turf, so that doesn't terribly scare me. And Cannon's Roar, I've always been a fan of this horse. He'll be in my exacta boxes, no doubt. Has some recency, comes back home. A horse, he's maybe not quite as quick as he used to be, but I think he'll be within range here by the time they hit the quarter pole. He can bring a punch with Forest Boys.
I agree. I think the post could be a huge advantage for him in this field as well. Going back, the winner never explained back on the 1st of March was entered for a 62.5 in New York last weekend and ended up being an off-the-turf scratch, but was considered for that type of step there from Tampa to New York. So there we have it. Keith Fustel 4257 there in that's the race I'm looking most forward
really
to
good
today.
horse race,
But let's go ahead into race number 10 in this allowance optional 55, going a 1 turn mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratch in the number 3, Spa City. Keith, you land on the number 5, Southern District for Horacio De Paz gets Kevin Gomez, of course, again in the saddle. We're taking a look at that last time effort.
Yeah, we're gonna look. January the 14th.
Sorry.
Last time here at Laurel. Yeah,
Yes.
Last time seen at Laurel.
That's what I meant.
This was a good effort. A little squeeze out of the break, and maybe maybe that was an okay thing. So trying to figure out his best running style. Next time out, he ran big on the front end. So he's versatile enough to me. Makes a good move, goes 4 wide. Vance Scholar's just a little too good that afternoon, but he makes good, steady progress here. I like this run. Handles the pressure, moves up. He's going to go clear in mid-stretch. But Vance Scholars, we've seen him around. He's faced the right kind. He's kind of a classy type of horse. He lets you down sometimes. He teases me a little, old Vance Scholars. But all in all, a very good effort after that adversity at the break for Southern District. I think he's going to work well at the 1-turn mile. He's been a popular claimed the last 2. But when the Paz goes and gets Gomez, you got to pay attention. Like kind of over the
40%
last
as of late.
and over the last several years, 31% with an ROI of close to $3. I think Galerio looks to be a user. Came back off of that little freshening. It did him good. He's another one that's going to be poised. I think he's going to be perched right off the speed of youngest of 5 and Thomas Shelby.
I look at that effort from when he had claimed by Norman Cash. Norman Cash gave him a break, came back in January. Off the layoff, not great, but ran a short time in between races, a normal Cash thing to do. And this horse can handle that from Cash. So I'm looking at that where then we get a little bit of a break. Then we come back even better, run on the quick turnaround. So I feel like we're going to be seeing a little bit of what we saw last time out. That's the that's what I'm jumping on with Galerio here.
You're going to see the good Galerio, I guess. But yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, you got a fresh horse, youngest of 5, I think was entered maybe for a little lesser last time. Comes back, it was scratching a little tougher field in here. So I gotta think he's going to be.
Such a fan of that horse,
yeah,
though.
he's going to be ready to rock and roll inside. Thomas Shelby will try to keep him close. Galerio might get first run over my horse, Southern District. We'll see. Yep.
We'll see. We'll find out there in race number 10. And the last race of the day here, race number 11, is a maiden claiming 45, going 1 mile and 16th on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Keith, you have the number 8 on top, Moonset, and you have a stat on the Michael Trombetta, third-time starter here today. What do you have for us?
Yeah, we're riding with Tromby a couple times today. Come on, Mike. Don't let us down. Last 3 years, 14 for 68, 21%. Dirt to turf move with the maidens. ROI of 348. Yeah, a couple interesting trips. A little trouble in debut. Rail steadied, quarter. And then next time, gets the old rated back comment and caught wide into a very fast flow. Not a lot of legitimate pace in here. Half Sister is a 3-time winner on the turf. I think Moonset will be forward quite a ways in here at a square price.
Absolutely. So there you go. There's a bit of a price that Keith has to offer. You also include the number 5, Bunker Hill, my single on my ticket. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Jimmy Toner trainee. Gets Victor Carrasco here today. Rui was on last time out here in this effort, last time out at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, he's going to have to work outward. And Bunker Hill, you know, he brings a pretty reliable run. It's just getting over the top. 4 seconds out of 11 starts. This looks like the field, Callie, that he should beat. But we see sometimes horses get in these little habits, and you know, they're always the kind of the bridesmaid.
Hanging around.
Yeah,
like
hanging around, right? So
herd mentality.
Yeah, we'll see if he can forge past through the stretch in here, because I think he'll have to, you know, run down my top selection, Moonset, or even Brittany's horse. I use Star Street. Star Street is a half the Hollywood Walk, a 3-time winner going long on the grass. So Toss the last are going to try something a little different, and she broke a streak. You know, I was on a bad streak, first turfs, but got it done yesterday in the opener with a big kind of win. That horse won very well.
9-1, $14 winner for Brittany Russell there with the Addison Poor yesterday. Hoping to continue that trend with Star Street. Of course, the Russells dominant on that. And just for fun, you inspired Irish, Madison Myers, Kevin Gomez. To wrap up Keith's picks here in race number 11. And we're going to head on over to the lightning round and just touch on a couple of things before we get onto the first Saturday here in May in Maryland here. But Keith, let's go ahead and touch on that. Let's start with your value play of the day. Race number 9, Sky's Not Falling. Trombetta coming off of that Gulfstream Park campaign.
Yeah, I think both horses that I have today are gonna hold some value. Dirtied up form for Sky's Not Falling. Just needs to come out cleanly. If he does, I think he'll get a perfect trip. Maybe that boxed-in trip that I like to see on the turf. They just carry him along, and he'll bring that finish when he finds room the last 3/16.
And your best bet of the day is in race number 10, the number 5 Southern District, now in the barn of Horacio de Paz. As you mentioned, that nice little stat overall amongst the multiple years of Kevin Gomez and Horacio de Paz when they team up together.
Yeah, it's been a popular claim. You know, last time out, overland trip. had some trouble. The last time at Laurel was able to make a good wide move just to get run down. A clean break puts him within range, mid-pack. I think Galerio is the horse to beat. I think he'll get the jump on my guy, but I think he can make a good account of himself here this afternoon.
Let's see if he does. We'll find out how these races go here starting in about 33 minutes. But Keith, of course, first Saturday in May, it's the Derby. Let's talk about what's been shaken down with the Derby and who you ended up with taking a look on race number 12 at Churchill Downs.
A key late scratch, obviously, in Forte, and we had some other ones throughout the week. I'm going to key around 2 horses. I'm going to play them top and bottom in the exacta with the field. That's going to be my first bet. The 11, Disarm, and the 14 of Angel of Empire. Angel of Empire going to definitely come down now, probably maybe 5-1 when it's all said and done. I haven't seen the updated odds, but Angel of Empire, he's just steadily improving. He had a clean trip at Oaklawn, was able to swoop wide and go clear. Brad Cox comment, something maybe you think you can rely upon. But Disarm, I think, offers a ton of value. Might come down a little bit now with a scratch at Forte, but still going to be in that 20-1 range, 25-1 range. It's been up against it. 2 straight tries. He's flashed ability to me enough. He was hampered down at Louisiana Downs. I watched that race closely. Yes, he was on the best part of the track, but he was stalled 2 or 3 times in that race. And the gallop out, what I liked is he showed good energy. He just wanted to keep going and going and going. I like the way he's looked in the morning. Asmussen gets beat with the favorite last year, comes back with a price maybe to upset the apple cart. You're going to give me that combination, Rosario and Asmussen around 25-1. I'm willing to take a shot.
There we go. So we go from the Derby to the Preakness, which is going to be here sooner than you know it. Keith, let's cover this again, this wonderful future wager board. 257,848 now for that win pool. You have until 6 o'clock. Let's cover this just one more time for the folks in the back.
Yeah, right there, Tapit Trice, 11-1. Going to be the favorite right now, I would think, in the Derby. If he wins, what's he going to be in the Preakness? He's going to be an awful short. He's going to be a lot shorter than 11-1. So you got your chance to reach in and grab something. Forte stays on the board, right, waiting for the connection. So at 7-2, he's out of the Derby. But we'll see if he decides to make it to Baltimore. Other horses on the board, Angel of Empire at 9. You might look for a horse like Red Route 1 at 30-1. If the field's a little shorter, there's a horse that's proven for the right kind of connections. Lots of ways to go. I already played the field. I played 29, a couple bucks at 19-1. We'll see that one come down.
I'm surprised all other 3-year-olds is at 29-1. So we'll see what comes up of that. Yes, but. There we have it. Preakness Future Wager Board, $257,000 and climbing in the pool. 6 o'clock. That is the time you have to get in on that action and get a piece of it. And we will be waiting then in about 2 weeks for that future wager to manifest. So we'll see what happens there.
We'll see some moving and shaking going on, I think, in those odds that last hour leading up to the Derby. But don't forget, that closes at about an hour, right? Right around 5:57. Am I mistaken?
6 p.m.
Okay, there
6
you
p.m.
go. 6 p.m. on the dot.
6 p.m. on the dot. I will be excited myself in looking at how those odds change from this morning to this evening today. But we are going to take it to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches here on the first Saturday in May in Maryland.
All right. Good luck.